you know, I wanted to return to this channel with better circumstances, but I don't think that's going to be happening. And there's quite a lot going on right now with the internet right now as a whole. If you've been living under a rock, there's recently been a big fucking censorship move happening across the board with the internet. Basically disguising it as basically, trying to do it for the children. I'm not particularly good with a lot of this stuff because, to be honest, some of it gets way over my head, to be honest. But the internet currently right now is going through quite a big crisis, I think, and there's a chance that the internet as we know it, and probably just, there's even a chance just in general that it's fucked. Starting, I think, August 13th, YouTube is going to be rolling out an update, basically forcing you to show your ID and all this other stuff so you can confirm your age. And obviously, I do think that poses quite a few problems and a potential big safety risk that I'm scared of really complying with, because I don't, obviously, a lot of people tend to get hacked on this platform, and it sucks, because a lot of the time, sometimes even, it gets their channel deleted, and they have to start from scratch, right? But at least your personal information doesn't get leaked because of it. At least, you don't lose all your money from your funds because of it. Well, now, because of this whole fucking just shit show right now, there's a chance that once you get hacked now, if you do, your life is pretty much in danger if the person decides to use that information to, exploit you and come to your house. It's fucked. I think most people that I think at the very least have a bit of a brain are very scared right now, and obviously we don't want our shit to be leaked because of incompetent bastards at the higher ups making all these decisions when they don't even know the first thing about what the internet actually is, I really don't get it. And it's hard, I'm going to be honest, it's hard for me to talk about this stuff. It's going to be hard for me to even upload this because there's going to be people that will disagree. There's going to be people that genuinely think ultimately that all of this is a good thing. And in the different circumstances, maybe that could have been the case, right? But because of the way they're doing it, it's going to be harming so many people, directly, indirectly, it doesn't matter. I think about a lot of stuff, and I try to, analyze it and see if I can find a better outcome to that problem, right? The thing is, I can't, in good conscience, risk my potential information getting leaked by some fucking hacker if they decided to hack me. Just because I want to make some content. I've been doing this for over 10 years now. Actually, no. I've been doing it for exactly 10 years. And, You know, I thought that I would go my way, you know. I really had a plan, a rough plan anyways, for leaving YouTube because I've been thinking about it for a while now. And, you know, I would make more content for the next 3 years maximum and then leave. Because then by that point, I would have done enough content to where I could be satisfied, you know? But because of everything that is happening right now, I think it's fair to say that I don't want my personal information being leaked and potentially bringing harm to my family, you know? I know that's such, like, because of how small my channel is, that is such a small chance of that actually happening. A very, very small chance of that happening. But that doesn't mean it's impossible because I have been hacked before. And it's not pretty, you know. But at least, you know, it was just your channel, right? All I have to say about what's currently happening right now is it's fucked. I really do think so. The people that run Australia right now I don't think I need to say anything else, to be honest, because so many others have pointed it out. So many others have, a lot smarter than me, have dissected it. I'm just one dude. And ultimately, I make content. I do YouTube because I do find it fun. You know, I do it as a hobby. But there ain't no way I'm going to be risking myself and my family for something so trivial. The 2020s, I don't understand why, as soon as it hit 2020, everything went to absolute shit. And I'm not talking about my personal life, by the way. I'm just talking about in general. There's been so many big events that have happened over the last 5 years that has made the world significantly worse than it was before. And it sucks. I don't like making these videos anymore. I don't. That's why I don't do them anymore. Because I don't like being brutally honest about how I feel about the world right now. Because it's depressing, you know? And, you know, the way I vent, you know, I do have ways to sort of vent about it, you know? So I don't really need to use YouTube anymore for that. But this, because it actively affects what I probably am going to be doing on YouTube in the future, I have to say something just to, I guess, inform people that if there's a chance that I leave YouTube very, very soon, like very, very soon, in the next 2 weeks, maybe maximum, maybe 3, it's for a good reason. And I think many other YouTubers that really do not abide by what's currently happening right now will probably do the same. They probably will find another platform that doesn't have these stupid fucking restrictions, only for that platform to get it as well, and then have to move on to the next. I don't know what's going to become of YouTube. It could turn out, you know, it could turn out that YouTube won't be affected at all in terms of popularity by this. You would assume because of how big the company is, especially Google, that they're immune to this kind of stuff happening to them, where they pretty much collapse. But it isn't impossible. Just because a big ass company is big doesn't mean it's impossible. It's just really fucking hard, but, push it enough, make the wrong decisions enough times, and people will start to get sick of it, That's been me for like the past, 6 to 7 years of knowing YouTube. 2015 feels like it was like the last good year for YouTube, I think. Now, I know that sounds just like I'm being very much nostalgia baited there, but I'm being serious. There really wasn't a whole lot of problems with YouTube back in the day. Yes, toxic communities still existed back then, but the stuff that we were able to create wasn't really that restricted at all at the time. It was around about 2016, I believe, when YouTube started to get more and more restrictive when it comes to how you should make your content if you want to get viral, or, you shouldn't swear in the first, few seconds of a video, otherwise you immediately get demonetized and all that other stuff, right? Look, the thing is like, there was a time, and I know I'm yapping, sorry, but there was a time where I did want to do this as a job, and I'm being serious, but as time went on, because of not just current circumstances right now, but just the lack of common sense sometimes that the people that make these decisions at YouTube seem to have, it's made me feel really demotivated to do YouTube. And I guess I'm going to be laying all the cards on the fucking table. I might just do this as the video and we'll see what happens, but there's another big reason why I've been pretty demotivated to do YouTube, and been questioning it. Social media, it sucks. I don't think that's a hot take. It's a cesspool to the highest degree, and there's so many things I can say about social media. So many people have said it before, but I will say it's a cycle with social media. That hate, the toxicity, the rage baiting, all this shit, cancel culture, culture wars, all this other shit, fucking Christ. This video would turn into a full hour one if I actually listed a lot of the issues I have with social media, but I don't like what it's become. I truly do think it's gotten worse over the past 5 years as well because of COVID, because everyone had to be stuck inside for so long, and it really escalated, I think, the development, if you can even call it that, of the state of things right now with how people react on the internet. It feels like a lot more people are very much dickheads to one another. It's very rare to find a comment. Really rare to find somebody that actually is nice nowadays on YouTube, because I'm pretty sure a good chunk of them are venting about the world's problems right now, and the internet's the only way for some people to vent about it, but in their unique way without actually properly addressing what is actually bothering them. But in doing so is making the environment on social media on the internet just so much fucking worse. Fandoms have always been pretty dog shit, but obviously that has also gotten a lot worse in the past 5 years. There are more and more people wanting to leave the internet and social media to touch grass. And at the very least, just leave the internet behind other than for online gaming. But beyond that, there's quite a lot of people that want to escape the internet. There was a time where the opposite was true, where we used the internet to escape reality, but it honestly seems like sometimes, with how fucking bad it gets sometimes, people escape the internet back to reality to touch the grass, because honestly sometimes it really is just a lot better. Seeing that blue sky, seeing people go about their day, makes you realize that the shit that happens on this screen, the shit that happens on the internet, a lot of the time it's very much just a big circus, and it doesn't seem like it has any ending to it, or any direction for that matter. A lot of it's just a big fucking circus that goes on forever. Chaos. If you know, you know. But I'm being serious. I really do despise what it's become, and it's exhausting. And this is purely my fault, but many others have this problem as well. Doom scrolling. It's a thing that we do not like to do, but we do it anyways. Sounds like a 9 to 5. Those habits, sadly, because of how addicting they can be sometimes to the brain, it's really hard to sort of push away from it, which sucks. But that's another thing. It's not necessarily specifically a social media issue, more so just the consequences of having so much information just being, shoved into your head constantly. I don't think humans were ever meant for this kind of information, to be readily accessible this much and so often being exposed to it, This is probably one of the first inventions humanity's ever done where we can't truly properly comprehend it. There's something to be said about that that's really impressive, but another thing is, obviously, as much as that is incredibly impressive for our species, it's also because we did make something that we can't fully comprehend, it's only harming us a lot of the time. And some of it, no, and I'm going to be real, not all of the internet is bad. I'm not going to be that kind of person and say that directly to you. Oh, all of the internet's garbage, everything's shit. No, of course not. There's always going to be positives and negatives to everything. I think one of the biggest ones is being able to contact your family and friends so conveniently, obviously. And again, for as much stress as it gives me, one of the biggest ones for me is making content, being able to upload my stuff onto YouTube and just have a good time editing, making thumbnails and all that other stuff. Relatively speaking, But a lot of it's pretty bad. A lot of it's so fucking bad that I would even go as far to say, despite the positives, I do think a good chunk of it, a good majority of it, is not good. And obviously that sucks. There was a time where that wasn't exactly the case. Of course, we still had the toxic communities, we still had all this other shit back then as well, but obviously it wasn't as prominent, and honestly, it was just a lot more digestible. So, yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say. Back to past me. And for a hot minute, that's exactly what happened. I left YouTube for a good 2 years, I think, relatively speaking, I believe. And I only came back around this decade, you know. I'm sorry that you got to see this ugly mug. I'm sorry that you have to see the room dirty, but this is important, you know. I don't want to put any gameplay distractions because honestly, this shit is serious, you know. And I think we need more people to at least be remotely aware of what's going on right now. So please, educate yourselves on what's going on, please. Because who knows, if enough people know about it, we might be able to do something about it. I do want to say a lot more, but I'm not entirely sure if the events are going to play out like I think it's going to, or it might actually turn out a lot better than I think. Maybe we'll see. I hope so, but you know, I doubt it. This was going to happen, like me leaving YouTube, by the way. This was going to happen anyways. As I said, I have a lot of reasons for wanting to leave. And one of the big ones is, you know, I do, like, especially on the main channel, other than maybe the Deltarune uploads currently, I do put a lot of effort into my videos. A lot of them don't get really that many views. And with the amount of effort I do put into them, makes it makes making videos, especially for how time consuming and sometimes stressful it is, it sometimes makes it feel like it isn't worth it, you know? And yeah, it's this very small reason, and it's never been enough for me to properly quit, by the way. But, you know, when you have so many problems dogpile, so many reasons to leave that start to dogpile, and now what's recently happening with the internet right now being another one, yeah, it sucks. All I've wanted to do is, you know, post videos on YouTube, you know, maybe, Jesus Christ, a notification, bro. Why is my desktop audio not muted? Okay, but yeah. Anyway, but yeah, all I've wanted to do was make content, you know, on YouTube, because I've wanted to capture, you know, my experiences with games, especially the ones that do leave an impact on me, you know. Because you know, those kinds of games are pretty rare, and I'd love it to be documented, if not for anyone, just for myself, possibly, you know. But it's seeming like if things do continue to escalate and things do continue to progress where I think it's going, I can't, in good faith, continue to make content on a platform that willingly is okay with, you know, exploiting people's privacy, I guess. As I said, I'm not good when it comes to these kinds of topics. You know, I'm not the smartest person in the world. But I don't want what is essentially just a hobby to be a cause for something that could pose harm, you know, to the people I care about. So we'll see what happens. But all in all, if this truly is it, I'm probably gonna say, if I do officially leave in the next video, whatever, I don't know. Again, we don't know yet, but if I do leave, I just want to say thank you. You know, I think still my greatest accomplishment was the Bone Lab series. That series just turned out to be something beautiful. I think all of the planets aligned for that series. I was very energetic. I was excited. There wasn't a whole lot of negativity in that. Genuine, pure positivity. You know, none of it was faked. And, you know, I was able to edit really well. It was when I started to refine my editing skills. That Bone Lab montage that I'm still to this very day am so fucking proud of that I made. I am very grateful that I was able to even give this a shot. I'm very grateful that I was able to, you know, entertain at least a few people, you know, and I hope that this isn't the end. I hope. Because I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave. We've got the Boneworks Remastered thing coming out, I think, pretty soon. I especially don't want to leave because of that. I can't risk myself being pretty much spied on if I give my ID to like all these fucking companies that now want your ID to access the stuff that you want. Even Spotify is doing it now, which is fucking crazy. Of all things. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to leave, but I'm going to assume that I'm not alone in that mindset. I think there's probably quite a few content creators that feel the same way. We'll see how shit turns out, but I think for now I'm just going to chill out and wait for it all to die down, play Donkey Kong Bonanza, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't turn out the way I think it's going to, but if it does, it truly has been a privilege, blur, there you go, to be able to do this. Because I actually did gain a skill from doing all this. I've been able to actually edit and, you know, refine it and all that other stuff. And that in of itself I'm proud of, you know. I think I've gotten pretty decently well with editing, despite working on a platform, Wondershare, that is a bit more restrictive compared to something like Adobe. I think it is Adobe, right? Yeah, Adobe Pro. I think you know what I mean, like the more popular option out there for editing that you have to buy a subscription for. But I am proud of that. And yeah, I guess that's officially it. As I said, I'm not good with these kinds of things. I do apologize if I repeated a few stuff, but this shit is stressing me out, and I don't know if I can continue to make content without this overwhelming amount of stress and worry at the back of my mind, of my information getting leaked and all this other crap. All because, you know, I have to post my fucking ID eventually onto YouTube to confirm I'm over 18. I don't get why we have so many Karens that just run the world. So many of them. They don't understand how the internet works, and yet they think they do. It's kind of maddening. It really is. But I hope it does get better. Hope for everyone it gets better. Because I'm sure the many content creators out there, you know, don't want to give up on something that they enjoy doing. An audience that they may have gathered. They don't want to leave. Because it is an art form in a sense, you know. Being able to create this stuff, you know. sometimes putting our sweat and tears into it for people to see. We don't want to give that up. And at least for the next few years, I didn't want to. So the potential chance of me leaving so abruptly, Blair, sucks. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But until then, sorry for the depressing video. It is what it is. God, man. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm pretty tired right now. I had a big trip yesterday, so I'm pretty not mentally fucked, but I'm pretty tired. So yeah, stay safe, and please, for the love of fucking God, question this shit. Don't just blindly accept it, please. You know, what is happening right now is possibly going to get worse for years to come if this shit genuinely fully isn't in effect. It's already starting. It's not fully there yet. But when it hits, when it happens, they're going to use the amount of the excuses that they possibly can to basically, in a way, control us. Please do your research. And stay safe, please. I'm done yapping. Have a good one.